Hi, welcome to the Entrepreneurship Development Program for Mechanical Engineers. So as mechanical engineers are going to be mechanical engineers, you will have many ideas of getting a job, or some of you may be thinking of becoming an entrepreneur. So who is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur by definition is a person who sets up a business or many businesses, taking on financial risk in the hope of making a profit. But I will say an entrepreneur is a person who starts the right business at the right place, at the right time, in the right way. So let's see how people become entrepreneurs. So do you remember when you were a kid and you thought anything is possible for you? There was a time like that. You might have had a lot of ideas, but then you started schooling and you started, or the teaching you received started making you realize your limits. Then finally when you graduated, you had some grades in some particular subjects and that limited you again. You thought, oh, you could do only this. Then you started doing a job, and you thought maybe by knowing more about the industry you will be able to do something big. But after some time you started realizing that what is that big dream? You cannot find that big dream. Then one day you suddenly read something in the newspaper that someone who was like you made that big dream possible. And then you look around and you see that people who made it very big are not very different from you. So how you can become someone big, or you can realize your dreams? Go back to the beginning. It is still possible to have your dreams. But you have to go back to that small kid who thinks that anything is possible. So what are the advantages of being an entrepreneur? And being an entrepreneur has advantages and disadvantages. Let's see what are the advantages, then we will see what are the disadvantages. You have a lot of autonomy, you can work on your own, you can grab opportunities as it comes, and you have freedom to decide your work. So it is not the 9-to-5 job, but it will be something very different. And you can fulfill the responsibility to the society. You can make an impact in many people around you. You will get time to spend with your family as and when you wish. And you can make a change. You have that feeling of accomplishment. You have more control and more flexibility over what you are doing. But at the same time, being an entrepreneur has its own disadvantages too. Because you have to make a capital investment, which you have to find out from where to make that capital investment. You will have to dedicate the extra time for that. It is not a 9-to-5 job, but at the same time, if you want to make it big, you will have to invest extra time sometimes. And your stress level may rocket high, and you have to keep up with the government rules and regulations of that particular place where you are starting your business. So you should know them, and you should comply with them, and you have to take hard decisions. Being an entrepreneur, you will have to hire people, you will have to fire people, which may not be a very pleasant experience. And finally, you may end up in a loss. You are planning to make a profit, but you may end up in a loss. So what are the characteristics of an entrepreneur? And to be an entrepreneur, you should have some characteristics, like that person should have education, hard work, planning, all these things, let it go. But other than that, that person should be a risk taker. Being an entrepreneur is a highly risky position, and you should be a risk taker. You should be perceptive of what is happening around. You should be curious of what you want to do. You should be very imaginative and persistent in what you are doing. You should have a goal, you should have the goal setting capacity, you should be very hardworking, you should be confident that you can do something, you should be flexible, independent, quite assertive, and systematic and organized. And you should have an inspiration of your own and should be able to inspire those who are around you. You should be committed towards your goals and you should be efficient in what you're doing. You should be a good communicator, someone who can communicate what you want, and should be a good problem solver too, because problems always arise. So these are the characteristics, and by coming to the entrepreneurial process, what are the various processes in which you can start a business or an entrepreneurship? Like, you can actually introduce a new product into an existing market, or you can introduce an existing product into a new market, or sometimes it will be a totally new venture, a new product in a new market. So, coming to the different steps of an entrepreneurial process, first of all, you have to identify the opportunities. What are the opportunities? You have to identify that, evaluate that, then you have to develop a business plan, then you should determine what are the resources required for that, and then you have to manage the enterprise you have set up. So, coming to the selecting of a business opportunity, there are 6 steps in selecting a business opportunity. We will see that one by one. First of all, you have to identify your personal goals and business goals and see both of them are going together. As a person, you will be having some goals in your life. See that the business you are choosing is also complying with that. So that is your first step. Identify that. Then research on your favorite industry. So according to your personal goals and business goals, do a research. How? What are the industries? What are the opportunities available to me? You look around for that. Then you have to identify the promising industry segments, the segments which are quite promising to you. Then you have to identify the problem areas. Sometimes there could be problems in different areas. You have to identify that, brainstorm it, not only alone but with like-minded people, and see what you can offer there. Then you have to compare your possible solutions with your objectives and what are the opportunities which are available in the marketplace. Once you do that, you have narrowed it down. Then you focus on the most promising opportunity. There could be other options to identify a business opportunity. Sometimes when someone is having a problem in their business, you can solve it and finally you realize that you can do it better. Or maybe from poor services, you think that you can give a better service and you can enter into the market there. Or there will be a service gap, or there could be a service improvement, or maybe an existing product or service can be modified by your work. So these are all some opportunities which you can utilize. Now once you decide what you are going to do, then the next step is developing a business plan. So a business plan is something you need so that you can submit in the bank for a loan and all these things, and also to give you a guideline what to do. And the first thing is an executive summary of what the business is going to be. Then the company description, what the company as such is going to be. Then a market analysis in the service or the product you are going to introduce into the market, how that will go in the market. Then organization and management, service or product line, then marketing and sales, funding request, then financial projections, and finally an appendix where you will be showing all the permits and licenses you have got. Now the next step is determination of required resources. So you require the necessary infrastructure for that. You need the machinery, you need the human resources, you need the raw materials from where you are going to procure the raw materials, and you need the necessary finances. So how to procure finances? There are various areas from where you can get finances. First of all, you can get a loan from the bank, or you can depend on the NBFCs, non-banking financing companies, or you can go for microfinance institutes. You can ask your friends and relatives to fund your business, or very important, you can go for the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, which is intending to support startups like young entrepreneurs like you. And these are some small business opportunities as mechanical engineers you can venture into, like an auto parts store or a solar panel building and installation, an auto repair shop, HVAC installation and repair, auto parts assembly plant, and a training school where you can train people to have that knowledge, or mechanical engineering consultancy firm, machine building and design, aircraft maintenance and waste management. So I hope you had some idea about how to be an entrepreneur. Thank you so much.